Hey everybody, this is Willy. Before we start the show today, I just wanted to take a second to talk to everybody out there. This is the 2-year anniversary of Back to Back, this episode. That's a crazy milestone. It's not something I ever thought we would hit when we started this show. So I just wanted to say a quick thank you to all the back-to-backers, the giant community that's come out for this show over the last 24 months. To be here with all of you, to bring Diplo back on the show for the first time since we started. It feels good. I'm in a great mood, and I have some more really exciting news. Back to Back is now brought to you by my friends over at Serato. And if you've been following the show, you already know we've worked with Serato in the past. You know, I went to their studios to record an episode with Flostradamus that was really, really fun. The video of that is up on their YouTube channel. And we've been talking to them for a long time about making it official, doing something more formal, and it is happening now. It means a lot to me. I've been a Serato user for probably over a decade at this point. A lot of your favorite DJs are on it, you know, people like DJ Snake, Flostradamus, all the way down the line. And they really do it all, from the Serato DJ Pro software that you see everybody using. And then for all my producers out there, they've got the VST plugin called Serato Sample, which is a great plugin. And it's something I'm going to tell you more about in the weeks to come. For now, just make sure to go check them out, Serato.com, or you can check them out on their Serato HQ YouTube channel. They're dropping new videos weekly from some of the world's best DJs doing crazy routines. I've been talking to them a lot lately. They've got some really cool stuff in the works. Like I said, I'm going to be telling you more about it in the weeks to come. So shout out to Serato. Shout out to 2 years of back-to-back, and shout out to everybody out there listening. I couldn't have done this without you. All right, everybody ready for Diplo? Let's start the show.
This is Back-to-Back.
Yo, what's up, back-to-backers? This is Willy Joy. Welcome to the show. This is Back to Back. This is my podcast. And man, it doesn't get much more special than this. The 2-year anniversary with none other than Diplo, the guest that started it all from episode 1 all the way to here. I had to bring him back to celebrate, to check in, to catch up, and I'll tell you all about it. But before I do, you know, it's been 2 years since I've been doing this show now. And that just sounds crazy to me because it really doesn't feel that long. It feels like I'm still just getting started. And, you know, sitting here recording this intro, just reflecting back on all the amazing guests who have come on the show, all the people who, you know, trusted me with this idea when I first started. Because, you know, there wasn't really a precedent for a show like this when I started. Definitely not one that was focused on electronic music. And it means a lot to me that people would place their trust in me like that. And that extends to you, the listeners, too. I have so much love for everybody who's been tuning in every single week, keeping up with the show, everybody who's been supporting us by spreading the word, telling their friends about Back to Back, you know, putting up a post, tagging me in your stories, reposting the things that I put up there. All of that has absolutely helped us get to this 2-year mark. It's helped us get incredible guests, amazing episodes. All of that comes from the listeners, the community, you listening right now. Everyone who's come together behind this show to make it great. So I'm taking a moment to sit back and reflect on everything. I'm looking over the list of all the guests we've had. And look, if you're just tuning in for the first time or if you're a new listener, it's awesome to have you here. Today's episode is the perfect time to tune in. And after that, you really got to go check out all the amazing guests I've had over the last 2 years. I'm just scrolling down the list of episodes right now and just being reminded at how many awesome people I've gotten to talk to. You know, yesterday a friend was talking to me about the Little Texas episode, how much they love that. And then I can go from talking to someone like him to a legend like Kevin Saunderson. And from that to an incredible journalist like Valerie Lee, from stars like Chromeo, old friends like Flostradamus, LS Dream, to the people pushing the culture forward, people like Destructo, Nick Catchdubs from Fool's Gold Records, and so many more, so many of your favorite artists. This whole ride has just been a trip. It's one that's continuing stronger than ever, and I couldn't be more happy that all of you are sharing this with me today. But all right, enough of the emotional speech. I had to get the man back himself. It is Diplo on the show. I met up with him actually at the exact same place that we recorded episode number 1, his studio complex out in Hollywood, in the exact same room even that we recorded that first interview. I've seen him, we've hung out, but it had been 2 years since we really got to catch up like this. And 2 years in Diplo time is like a century. This guy packs so much into a single day, it's exhausting. So there was a lot to talk about. We recorded this right before he was about to play the Stagecoach Music Festival. If you follow Diplo, or really if you just are on the internet at all, I'm sure you saw it. He did a crazy performance, brought out some special guests. He's even releasing some country music now, and we talk about all of that. We talk about his crazy travels, going to the places in the world where just nobody else goes from this world. Nobody is playing these shows. So to hear about these experiences from kind of the only person doing it, it makes for just some pretty incredible stories. And we bounced all over the map. I mean, we talked about all of his new projects, the future of Major Lazer, winning the Grammy with his group Silk City, the LSD album he did with Sia and Labyrinth, and we talk about all the new house music he's been dropping. He's been working with some incredible people. He just put out a brand new EP, and it's called Higher Ground. It's out right now. The first single off of there was called Hold You Tight. There's a song I really like on there called Bubble Up. In addition to that, he also just dropped his brand new country project, which is called Diplo Presents Thomas Wesley. The new song off of there is called So Long, featuring Cam. And I threw that song along with his new remix for Old Town Road in my SiriusXM show for this week. If you have Sirius, you got to be tuning in. It's back-to-back radio, and it airs every single Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Pacific. That's midnight Eastern. And then it airs again Friday mornings if you got that morning commute, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. And that's on Channel 52, which just happens to be Diplo's Revolution, the channel. You know, he's always had a big influence, a big impact on my own career. And no matter who you are, where you're at right now, even where you're at in your life right now, I think there's something to be learned from this conversation. So that's all I'm going to say. 2-year anniversary, we made it. And let's get into this right now. This is me and Diplo, back to back. Let's go. It's fucking crazy to me that was 2 years ago. Like, doesn't that seem like not that long ago?
I mean, yeah, I've only been here. It was 2 years ago. So it's to be my 3rd year in the studio in June.
Yeah. It's wild,
it's
man.
time to get out.
Well, that was kind of my next question, because the last time I was here and I was talking to you, you were talking about how LA was this new, exciting, vibrant community, and you kind of wanted to put your roots down and, you know, build a space for people to come in. And now it's been a couple of years, and you've got this space, and you've got, you know, people are running around here every day. Does it still feel the same way to you? Is it still that exciting, new, young community where, like, everyone is mingling in different
in LA or this house?
Either one.
I mean, I guess we have a little bubble here at the studio. We don't really do... I'm not going out all the time. Well, actually, I do. Actually, I go out more than ever now, seeing events, but I'm not, like, in that pocket of EDM, I guess, that used to be really, really happening in LA. I'm more like this weekend I went out Saturday, like Shaba, like the like kind of hipster dancehall party. I went to a party called Juve. It was like all Belizeans and Trinidadians.
Oh, that sounds
doing
dope.
Like baby powder. It's like a rave in a warehouse. Then I went to like a house party late night that was playing like deep house.
Right.
So there's a lot more underground music happening here. I think once the LA scene and the EDM scene kind of became a harbinger of pop music, there wasn't like a lot of places. I didn't feel like it wasn't like it's exciting to me anymore. There's still dope DJs and people doing performances, but the club scene, like I think that the dance music club scene, there's like the mainstream, that sort of like all the DJs that were coming up like the last 10 years, and there's like a really cool underground. And I'm sort of driven. I was at Rhonda earlier that night too. It was like a sort of a gay disco party.
Yeah, Rhonda's been going strong.
It's crazy. I was like back at Rhonda after 10 years. I feel like Rhonda existed before EDM and then is still there afterwards.
Yeah, man. I mean, just like house music, right?
Yeah.
Like it's funny to me, the cycles and how things will kind of surface above the water and go back below, but they've always been there.
Yeah.
You know, especially something like house music, you think about, like I just had Kevin Saunderson on the show. And I mean, he's techno, obviously, but it's the same deal. They started in the 80s. And it's still going strong today. Like, what is it about certain forms of music to you that kind of keep them there, regardless of sort of the mainstream interest?
I mean, there's always, music has to be consumed by young people, and underground music and different scenes have to be like elevated by the young people who are discovering it. Because that it's just constantly, you know, it's very rare you have like one thing that you go to musically and you live that all your life. Like maybe if you're in the Rolling Stones or something, or like if you're like, the generation before us kind of had to choose their lifestyle and their music. Now we have the freedom to do whatever we want because we have access. It used to be music was given to you by your community. Whether you're like listening to doo-wop or like you're living and you're listening to the radio, you're listening to like the British Invasion, or you're like in the hood and you're listening to Watt Stacks or whatever it is. Like music was given to you by virtue for what your environment was, and it was contained, and that hasn't existed since I was a kid.
Yeah,
since I was a kid, I grew up listening to, in my neighborhood was like super diverse. We were like products of like a new American society, and I never had to choose like what my badge of honor was musically.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. For me, I ended up using it as self-identity, you know? So for a while, when I was young, I was like, oh no, I'm a metalhead, and like any music that's not metal sucks.
Yeah.
And then I was a raver and that kind of thing. Did you ever have any scenes like that where you felt like, oh, this community is accepting
I never felt like I was one thing because I never really had a community myself. Like I moved around to different high schools growing up, but I was really into hardcore in Florida, and that was like sort of like what you did if you were like a little bit, if you weren't in the wave of like the frat boys and the cheerleaders.
Yeah,
you listen to hardcore and you skated, and if you listen to hardcore, you also listen to hip hop. That's kind of like what you did growing up. I would listen to like, you know, local bands like Hot Water Music or something, and then like ska bands too. I liked ska as well. It was a big ska scene in Florida.
And it was skate videos,
yeah,
right?
and then watch skate videos, and I would discover music.
Dots.
I would listen to Tribe Called Quest because that'd be like they might be like the Mighty Boss Stones in the girl video. Then it might cut to like East Flatbush Project or like a Tribe Called Quest record or something, and it just like I discovered music that way, and then that was sort of like our way to do things and discover music before there was the internet, so we could do whatever we wanted and go whatever direction we want, which is amazing for young people because they can find things that they would never be. They can like consume culture that shouldn't be theirs or shouldn't like be given to them directly.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I've noticed, especially with, you know, social media being as crazy as it is, and the next generation of young musicians and listeners coming up, is it's like kind of cool to be diverse now, as opposed to saying, you know, oh no, this is my thing that I put on for. It's more that, oh no, I know about a lot of this stuff, a lot of different sounds.
I mean, there's also just so much more music. I mean, now that we have streaming services, you know, there used to be like, I used to be able to count the amount of rappers that there were on the radio in my hand, and now there's like 40 from every city.
Yeah.
Like there's 40 from Broward County. There's like 40 from New York coming up. There's 40 from Memphis now. It's like...
How do you keep track?
Well, hip-hop, I don't even pay attention to it. It's like, if something happens to break through, I might listen to it. I mean, I'm still consider myself a big fan of like rap and hip-hop, but I don't have the energy to listen to how... It's just a very uninspiring scene right now.
In terms of the content? Or
yeah, content and just like the people, the personalities. I was involved in it like 2 years ago. I was really like I was excited.
Yeah, I remember we talked about it. Right,
I was excited. I did the
California
EP, and I just I was really excited about working with XXX Temptation, and when he passed away, I feel like the whole scene died. Like at least the capacity that it could have been is gone. Like there's no quality control because he was like the he was like 17 with 2 #1 albums.
Right.
On his own.
I kind of felt that way about Lil Peep too.
Yeah, I think both of them together, I feel like were on to like the biggest things. And then when they passed away, everybody got lazy. And there was a gap to fill and no one filled it. And it's just like a vacuum like drug use and violence, and not in a cool way, not in like in a
self-aware way.
not in like we're gonna give you the news from the front lines of the streets. We're literally gonna glorify it because it's giving us clout.
Right.
Which is not what I was excited about at all.
Yeah. I know you worked with XXX a little bit. Did you work with Peep? Did you meet him before he passed?
We met and we were just starting to like get some stuff finished. We had 2 songs, and I would never put them out now because they're kind of like druggy, and they're not.
Of course.
And they're
a
not.
lot of his songs are eerie if you listen now, man.
And I mean, he had like great harmonies, and he had like such a dope way to deliver, and he learned it himself, and then he was developing a style that was super unique. And I remember trying to tell people about him because they might just see it as face value 2 years ago. You might look at Peep and be like, oh, I can figure out what this sounds like. And you hear some of the screamo leaning records, and you're like, no, here's a playlist. Let's go through all this, and you can see what this kid's about. And I was always like an ambassador for him and X, and be like, yo, listen to this. And it was a way for me to kind of put people onto it. And if you have the sphere of their work, you can understand them. If you just at the face value and you read about what people say on the internet about them, or if you just scratch the surface, you're not going to get the full genius of what those guys did.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have so many fights about both of them with people who just would disregard their merit for whatever reasons that they might personally have or whatever.
I mean, they were both problematic in their own ways.
But I'm a musician. I'm not a sociologist or a politician. I deal with them as what they do as musicians, and I was like blown away.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I feel like anybody who is a fan of music could like understand that. And if you're not, if you're just like on the internet, wasting away your time by stirring up, whatever.
Yeah, I'm not interested
friction.
in relitigating.
It's not really like moving the culture forward.
Which is, I mean, I feel like that's kind of your number one ethos. Is that for you? Rap aside, just in general, when a sound gets to the pop mainstream level, do you start to lose interest at a certain point?
I don't think so. I think that it doesn't really. There's been great pop on the radio.
Yeah,
and there's been pop comes in waves. I mean, I was thinking yesterday. I was thinking. I got signed. My first publishing deal was with Dr. Luke like 10 years ago, and he's the first person to give me like money so I can move to LA and like produce music. Yeah, I was on prescription music before as an admin deal, and I used my money to develop Mad Decent Publishing, and then we signed a bunch of artists and developed our own company. But I had to work with somebody, and I remember working and learning a lot from him. It's probably the most unpopular opinion now.
Yeah,
but he taught me a lot, and he also taught me about like writing splits and like how much work it takes and how important it is to like keep working instead of like fighting for a sliver of writing, whatever. Just make music, keep making music. You're going to get your break. And, maybe work on a pre-chorus for 2 weeks. People just like, especially in hip hop or dance music, you kind of like rock a record out and you feel good about it in a day and it's done. But with Max Martin and Luke and these producers from, the scene 10 years ago, they would like work on a record for 4 weeks on like the chorus,
right?
On like notes and vocal tracking, and I learned from that world, and it kind of went in a wave, and then it's maybe coming back now because you have like songs like the Jonas Brothers, and you have like Ava Max, who is like sounds like a traditional Dr. Luke record that Circuit actually produced. So it's kind of like it went away for a while. You had like the rough pop, and then it's come back to clean pop, but every time it happens, I mean, the music that's created now has all the music history below it. So everybody, we already know about this. We're already accustomed to this. This isn't groundbreaking. Now we can use this. Like when I put the vocal sample and Lean on, it was like, whoa, this is crazy. Now you can't. Now there's like full kits you can get.
There's nothing more boring.
There's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing that's gonna like push your energy forward. But you just gotta like take it in. Like as a producer, our job is to just absorb all that and then make the next thing, and not sit back and like think, oh, the good old days. That's when you really like. Yeah. That's when you really should quit making music, because music's not about
the good old days.
It's not about nostalgia. It's about like going forward always.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I always say I talk to a lot of different kinds of musicians on this show, and it's all about, we're all trying to get back to the thing that made us feel something when we were younger, that feeling. But if you just try to copy what it was, you'll never get anywhere. It's sort of about trying to figure out how to...
100% copied everything to get Where I was, I mean...
Wait, what do you mean?
Like when I first heard DJ Shadow's album, I was like, and I heard RJD2, I was like, let me copy this.
Yeah.
And I just did what they did.
But that's how we all start. I mean,
100%. I mean, I like hear a sound I like, I'll copy it,
Yeah.
and then see what I like about it, and then deconstruct it and make something new.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when I tried to copy Pound the Floor for like 2 years.
It's so easy. Well, first of all, you got to use Fruity Loops.
Yeah.
And then second of all, then you have to like really enable, unlock the secrets of the Ableton sampler too.
Yeah.
Which the pitch... I mean, just using raw audio in Ableton like changed the way we think about music.
It's all I do anymore.
Yeah, it's like crazy that wasn't a thing. It was like a Pro Tools based society we had until we work with raw audio and do whatever we want. Like I've seen a tutorial once where a guy took a click, like just like the click,
yeah,
and he could like double it, triple it, and then he made every noise there was out of the click sound, from a sawtooth to like a sub, and
it's fucking crazy.
It'll take a while to make one click noise into like a sub, but you can do it after like spending an hour. Or for Skrillex, and you probably do it like 10 minutes.
I mean, it's funny, we were talking about the California EP and where your head was at when we talked last, and now you just dropped the Europa EP. Yeah. And that was, to me, sort of an interesting move. Why now for that EP? Like, what was exciting about this time?
I think it was definitely the dates just lined up. The Europa EP kind of continued of California. It was like still making hip hop. I was doing it, not only was I breaking like some of the guys in America, like when they first started, like Trippie Redd or Lil Xans.
Yeah, some unknowns then that are now big names.
And then in Europe, I was doing the same thing. Like, Niska wasn't new by any means, but it was cool to like do a collab with a French rapper or Balsa or Busy. You know, these like, I'm just like letting people know how incredible the European hip hop scene is now. And it was like, that's kind of what that EP did. Octavian. I mean, all these guys.
How did you find all those guys out of the millions of people who are trying to get in your ear?
Oh, I think they're all the best that I met. Like, I think Octavian just was like, I was like, wow, this guy's like really weird.
Yeah.
His voice is crazy. Yeah. Songwriting is like.
The delivery is
it's like,
bizarre.
It's just different.
Yeah.
IMDb, I just was a huge fan. One day link with her. Boss, I didn't know, but Blender put me onto him, and I was like, let me try to do a German hip hop record. It's actually probably of all the records on the EP now, that's becoming the biggest one because it just works in that market.
Well, and it's interesting for Europe because I feel like traditionally hip hop in Europe was a step behind. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it always sounded a little dated. Do you think it's catching up?
I think it was the delivery of the music, the lyrics. I grew up, I loved this one record by MC Solar. And it was like the first time I bought it when I was in high school, and I listened all the time. I didn't understand French, but I was like, damn, this is so cool. And I felt like the French were sort of the first language to kind of reiterate hip hop in their own way and like find the words that work and find a rhythm that works, and the language really
there's something with the flow of the language.
But then they got better at it. Now if you go to like the Spotify charts in France, like the top 9 of the records are French records, and then it's like maybe an American pop record somewhere on the chart like Post Malone. But it's like it took that much time for young people to just discover, and you know, if you're living in Europe, you're living in a society that like you were born, hip hop has already existed for 10 years, 20 years maybe. So you're not like, it's not like a new thing. When I grew up, it was like hip hop, people were like living in Iceland and they were just learning hip hop, and the music started and kids were already like 20 trying to learn to rap all of a sudden. Now like they in Europe, you have, you know, people grew up with hip hop. It's not like anything new. It's like literally like old music now. It's like literally classic rock at this point. And they perfected the way for it to sound good. Like especially in Holland. Like I would never thought I'd like Dutch hip hop or German hip hop, and then these guys just kept getting better and better, and they made it their own culture.
Do you think, this is something I was going to ask earlier when you were talking about the age of the streaming services and how pop music, the sound is getting cleaner, dirtier. Do you think the technology, the delivery method is affecting the way people write songs? Is it affecting the way you write songs?
I mean, like how people...
Like, you know, trying
listen to music on streaming services?
Well, listen, and the way that you, as a producer, someone who makes music, does it affect the way you make music, knowing how it's going to be consumed? You know, because there's...
in different ways. If I'm working on something that might need, like, a pop ear, if I'm working with other artists, I'm making a record for somebody, like a pop singer, maybe... I mean, I remember once I was in the studio with this young rapper named Six Dogs from, I think he's from Utah, and he was like, the song has one chorus and had one verse.
Yeah.
And it was done. I was like, let's do another verse. He's like, nah, this is a minute 40. This is going to be good for replays.
Right.
Like he was thinking to himself like Gucci Gang style. Like the song is under 2 minutes. People have to listen to it 3 times
Double
to kind of like
money.
get the same revenue, per stream. Even though if I listen to a deep house record for 10 minutes, I can listen to 5 Gucci Gangs at the same time. So actually, he's getting paid 5 times more than someone playing a house record. But I think that was like a little glitch in the system that kind of got fixed real quick. I mean, Lil Pump dropped the album and it did like less than 50,000 copies 2 weeks ago. So I think people are not like they're kind of like they're finding little gimmicks all the time. Like SoundCloud chart is easy to rate number 1. This is easy to do. This is easy to do, and everybody figures those out, and the things work themselves out.
Do you care about that? Do you think about that?
I mean, as a label head and as someone that works at like a major label too, I have to always consider like what the charts are doing or how people game this system because it's happening. I mean, it's happening all the time, so I have to be aware of it. Or whether it's someone's like Instagram page, I don't have to keep up, but you definitely want to know the technology and what people do. But for the most part, I mean, I just make music essentially that I want to DJ now. Like that's kind of like that I want to play out, or I want to like how I want it to represent like my parties, or what I want to create to like create like a dope environment for having an event.
So what about the house records you just dropped then? What is it? Bubble
Up and Hold You Tight?
Yeah.
I mean, I've done like 10 house records and I'm just like kind of like letting them out one by one and trying to kind of find like where I can fit in the house scene.
I mean, is that representative of kind of something you want to push right now?
I think
like you were
I think
saying?
I play. I mean, I DJ a lot, and I DJ Vegas a lot, and I have my own residency there. And I think the music changes a lot there. I mean, it's crazy that I was like one of the first guys at the Encore Hotel or Wynn, Encore Beach Club, or like Excess that played hip hop. I remember playing hip hop records, like a Juicy J record, and like a big name DJ I'm not gonna name was like, where's this record from? I'm like, it's on the radio, you know,
very popular.
And I'm like, and it was round of fun to play hip hop back like 8 years ago, and then now it became very open format.
You pretty much have to, yeah.
And I've always been a really diverse DJ, so I've always liked everything. But now I just kind of like when I get into house music and I can deliver these long mixes, and there's something that changes in the crowd. Like they just like enjoy the music more. I like the crowd to be a little more, into the groove, not just like wanting like switch to 50 records in 10 minutes. And like I'm just trying to put all those records that I want to play. So I want to play these house records, and I play. If you're going to Vegas and see me play like 2.5 hour set, 3 hour set, I might give an hour and a half of like commercial music or my pop records and remixes, and just try to be clever. And it takes me a lot to make a set.
Yeah.
And I make a new set every week.
Yeah.
But like I might add like a new City Girls record, and like then I might take out this old record and might bring it back one of the old mashup I made. And I always think about my head, like, how can I make this fun for me more than the crowd? Like, how can I enjoy my sets?
Of course.
And if I give them like an hour and a half, 2 hours of like what kind of like easy, I'm going to spend the next hour playing deep house records that I just want to try out. And the crowd is staying longer. And then, my house set is getting more into my regular set. But at Coachella, for instance, I'm going to play almost all house music, like records I produced, because I'm not really interested in like going for the game of edits and mixes and like the biggest set ever. We've already like,
it's a zero-sum game,
everybody lost that battle at the end of the day,
There's no winners.
There's no winners in that. And I think if you create like just an awesome environment for people to perform and enjoy themselves, that's the winner. It's not just about how many drops and pop, fragments can I put in my set.
Well, and it's the set that's going to be different, right?
Well, not this. I mean, Coachella has an amazing lineup. I'm there playing with like Chris Lake, Fisher, Bob Moses. I like to look at the lineup and like, besides Snake and Dylan, who are going to be more open format, there's mostly house DJs, actually.
Fair enough.
I'm probably playing later than everybody else, but I'm actually going to hopefully have records that haven't been played, but I'm playing a lot of my own records and things like that. I mean, I'm always paying attention. I mean, I pay attention when Fisher sells out like 3 shrines. Like someone like DJ Snake can't even sell like half of a shrine, and like, but he's gigantic against Fisher. People are wanting to like enjoy an environment of house music and enjoy like their time there, than rather just be like.
Did you see that coming? Because I know even back in the day, you've always been like a big Disclosure guy. I remember
always.
Seeing
I just love music. I've always loved like going to house parties. I feel like this year when I went to Tulum, I guess in January, I just was chilling. I was like, damn, these parties, the energy is like more female. And like in Vegas is more masculine and aggressive, and like in general EDM is. And I was like, damn, this energy is like more sexy, like you have in house parties. And I was like, this is like the wave I want to be on.
Right.
More than like, do I want to like constantly battle for the the most drops?
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm also, I can appreciate every kind of music. I think if you're a good DJ, you can find a place for every song you like in a set.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's a DJ's job, is to negotiate what they want to play and how they want to give it to their fans.
Right.
And if you're a good DJ, like I imagine you spend time working on your set every day.
You better.
Like I'll spend like 3 hours working on a 2-hour set in Vegas. So it's like literally, you might just think I fly to Vegas and I'm in and out playing this thing. I'm spending like 6 hours doing that one small set.
Of course.
And I'm practicing, and I actually love doing Vegas because I can, for one, I can't really get fired of a contract, so I can play whatever. I can kind of like do whatever I want. I hope it's great, but every time I play, I feel like the set's better than the last one, and like I'm learning more, and I'm playing new records, and I love DJing.
And I mean, Vegas crowds, in a weird sort of backwards way, I mean, it's the most honest crowd, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, it depends. I mean, they're like, Vegas is changing too. I mean, we had.
Do you feel like they're getting more educated, those crowds?
100%. I mean, just in America, dance music has only existed for, in the mainstream sense, for like 5 years,
right.
6 years.
Right.
And in Europe, it's existed since Kevin Saunderson, since they brought techno and house to Europe, it took over.
Yeah.
And we never had that. We always had like underground scene. If you're from Chicago, you had it.
Yeah.
I was from Orlando, I had it. Like we had a huge rave scene. If you're from New York and you were cool and you knew where to go, you had it. Or if you're gay, you knew where to go.
Yeah.
SF, you might have had a little bit. LA, you had like a really weird, diverse scene, like Herb Magazine. I remember coming here and be like, why do these people like know this music? And then, but the rest of the country, that's only like 1%.
Yeah.
You know, and so the rest of the country had to learn it from Avicii, and they had to learn it from David Guetta. And those records were easy to get. They connect immediately. They connect immediately. So once you get that, you kind of like, yo, this is great. It's become part of the narrative of pop music. Then once that gets old, well, I still like dance music. What I listen to now, where you listen to the Martinez Brothers, or you listen to like Guy Gerber, or you go deeper, or you listen to Camel Fat, or you go see Fisher play now, because that's like, you already know how to like enjoy dance music. Now let's see something that's going to give me like a journey.
Yeah. I sort of wonder for younger fans what's going to be their thing, right? Because I think we're talking about our audiences sort of growing up and maturing with us, and the younger audiences, for a minute, they were on the hip hop wave. Yeah. But for them, like where's that next burst of energy going to come from?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, it changes quick. I only concentrate on making like the records that I love.
Yeah.
And I hope that people like it go. It
well,
reaches,
you don't want to
pretend
to be an 18-year-old.
It reaches, but I feel like the audiences are. When I went to Ronda, I was like, man, it's more of like a mixed gay club, but the kids are young. Like I remember going to Ronda in LA, and I might have been like the youngest person 10 years ago.
Right.
It was like too many DJs were playing, or like, Tom York or whatever. Something.
Yeah, it kind of flipped, right?
And then now I'm like the oldest person there, and I felt like I was more in tune with what was happening now with the music.
Yeah.
And that's, so I know the kids are like paying attention, and they're excited about it. And now it's like part of our vernacular, like dance music. And so,
yeah, it's true.
In LA, you might just know there's like parties happening at Exchange, but there's like 40 parties happening in downtown that are 4 times as big every weekend now.
Right. And you just don't hear about them.
Yeah, you don't hear about them. And I'm going exploring that like every weekend I'm in town. It's like LA has a crazy scene.
That's dope, man. And we talked about what you're playing in Vegas. We talked about what you're playing at Coachella. Where are you playing at Stagecoach?
Well, I don't know when this is going to air, but well, if Stagecoach already passed.
What did you play at Stagecoach?
I actually know how to play country music. There's actually a scene of country DJs, believe it or not.
Oh, I believe that 100%. I mean, there's country dancing for sure.
If you go to like I grew up in Daytona, and if you go to if you're there the weekend of Bike Week, or you're there the weekend of the 500, which is the big race car big race we have there. There's like parties all the time that's like country music mixed with hip hop, and there's like crazy edits like of country songs.
Yeah.
So I have like a complete history of that, but I'm gonna try to do an hour. I have like some special guests playing with me.
That's dope. But you're gonna do like a country set.
Yeah, I'm gonna mix I'm gonna try to do what I do. Like I want to play like some country records I like with some mixes, edits, and then I'm putting out some country records actually this year. So I have like one out before Stagecoach, and I'll have 2 more coming out right afterwards. And
you done anything with Lil Nas X yet?
I did a remix for Old Town Road. I'll play that, and I'm actually going to have him come out at Stagecoach. So it'll be his first like live performance of the song, like in a stage.
That's amazing.
And then,
especially with all the shit with the Billboard charts.
Yeah,
I love that, man.
It sucks that I backtrack. I mean, in the end of the day, I kind of feel bad for all country artists because they can't really compete with a TikTok song. Right. So it's like,
yeah, it's true.
They're not gonna like. It's not actually fair, and
no,
it's kind of like a joke version of a country song. But you know what? It's a country song, regardless. I know Billy Ray Cyrus in the remix, and he was actually kicked off the country chart too for being too rock.
Right.
So it's like kind of like
full circle moment.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. I mean, I
like anything that shakes up like the music scene.
That's the thing.
I've always been like, people always like say like Diplo appropriates culture or whatever, this and that. But I mean, I'm ready to appropriate country music. Let's fucking go.
Right. I'm actually ready for that backlash. Yeah. That's going to be
Come bring that shit.
Yeah. Oh, man. I love talking to you about all of these insane, pointless shows that you do.
I love pointless shows.
Yeah. And the fact that you're just doing it to like, I don't know, I feel like you have this internal endless list of boxes you have to check off of like just shit no one's done yet that you have to be the first one to do. Like,
I don't think I have to be the first one to do anything. I just think that I don't care about, like, my management really is over trying, like, they stop fighting with me to like, well, you shouldn't go to Pyongyang for a show, or like you shouldn't go, like, maybe the Pakistan block party is not a good idea. But
can we talk about the Pakistan block?
But I feel like no one else is going to do it. I mean, like, like why? I'm not here just to like play top 40 in Vegas. I'm here to like do whatever the fuck I can, like to make as much noise. So
yeah, man. I
just need someone to like. I just need some Secret Service agents to like make sure I don't get kidnapped most of the times. But
was it a little hairy in Pakistan?
No, we had like crazy security. I mean, if you're gonna go to like Lagos or Pakistan or like Bangladesh, might have been the most like sketchy place I went to DJ, but. You're gonna work with like the embassies there to make sure you're safe. They're not gonna like. It's like, I mean, America has a lot of power in these places. I mean, Islamabad is the second biggest. What's the word? Embassy in the world after the Baghdad one.
Oh wow!
So like a full city, because it's important. Like, I mean, Pakistan is like our leading ally in that area. Just like Nigeria, we have a big embassy because it's important for us to be there and be part of like the African community. Because like Pakistan, I mean, like Lagos, Nigeria is like wealthy as hell. Like they're powerful. It's important. Like, and as me, like a lot of times the USO and like the people in the government think of me as like an ambassador of culture. So like Diplo is working on this kind of music. It's like inclusive with like you guys, what you're doing in Lagos or whether it's in Pakistan. And like I feel like if that's the least I can do to like help project a positive attitude towards America for these places, like that's great to be part of it. And actually, you'd be surprised at how much I work with like embassies and diplomats on like these shows because it's like I need them to make it safe, and also it's actually like the only like cultural attaché they have, because people like young people like listen to our music in these countries. They don't like read our news stories because they would just be devastating for us. Like, all this is bad news about Donald Trump. So if we can give them like at least our music and like make a conversation with them and do concerts there and like, you know, trade music and have the other artists perform with us. And, you know, I had like Pakistani guys play in Chicago at our block party in return.
Oh, that's amazing.
So it's like, that's like the least offensive thing I can do as an American is like try to play these places and try to like develop little scenes in these countries.
Do you think when you were in Pakistan, did you make any of those connections? Like, what was that experience like? I
mean, to be honest, I can't talk about everything I did in Pakistan, but to be honest, you'd be surprised. Pakistan, you could literally be like in like Alhambra. It's like there's nothing. It's like everywhere you go, we're very westernized. We're a very globalized country, world now. You were like, I feel like,
yeah, of course.
I mean, Islamabad. Like I went to like the most amazing mosque there, and like I got a photo there. And there's not like many landmarks in Islamabad. It's kind of a new city. But for the most part, there's like ice cream shops, like music shops, and kids are like, you know, hanging out. And there's just, it's like.
What about the show? Did the show feel familiar?
The show was like crazy. Yeah. I mean, like the first one we did there was like, we better get out of here. And I only go there for a day and I had to fly out like 4 a.m. It's the only flight to leave. The second one we did, the first one we did was like 3,000. The second one we did was like 6,000 kids. And it was like, kids, they knew every song. People were like crying when I played like Revolution. Like, it was like. Just like the energy was insane, you know? I remember I took Elephant. She opened for us the first show and she stayed in Pakistan 2 weeks, like vacationing.
Damn.
I mean, imagine like being like a woman and just being like, you know what, no one's ever been here on vacation, and imagine the most amazing things you can see in traveling there, and like, she made connections with people there, and she's Swedish. She has like a different sensibility than we do as Americans.
Yeah.
And I love her open mind, and like she did so much amazing stuff when she was there.
Well, how about for you? I mean, you've been basically everywhere. Do you still have white whale places you're trying to do a show that you haven't done yet?
I mean, I just think that we did so much cool stuff, and it just grows. Like Africa for Major Lazer has been
talk about that a little bit.
The best place for us to travel and tour.
Because that, I mean, just from watching your social media and all that, that tour seemed pretty significant the last time you were there.
Yeah, I think Kenya, it was our fourth show in Kenya now. And like it's like every time it gets bigger and bigger to where our Kenya show is bigger than our biggest block party. Like there's going to be like 10,000 kids at the next one.
It's amazing.
And they know every song, from start to finish. And like in America, we might get by playing like our 3 songs that have 1 billion streams, like our pop songs.
Yeah.
Because the kids they're not acclimated. It's like listening to dancehall, reggae, and like world music. But in Africa, the crowd actually is very diverse at some place like Nairobi. And they'll know every record. They'll know like the B-sides. And you like realize like, damn, I got like, why do we have like 250 million streams on a record like Run Up with the Party Next Door? Because no one knows the record when I play it in America. And I'm like, where the hell are people listening to this? And you realize it's like Africa, like they're listening to our records like religiously. Like they like really love this idea of like the fusion that we create. And every place is different. I mean, like I'm so lucky to be able to go to Lagos and like have a community of people that are awesome musicians I work with, and to do shows there. And that was like the roughest place to play crowd-wise until like the second show was like we had actual fans the second time we went there, and it felt like great to have a call and response to the records.
But they didn't get it the first time around?
The first time was just like, I mean, I was probably the first like
show
white dude
of that type
that ever went like there on a stage trying to like play records. They were like, and the sound went out, and I was like, I was stuck on the mic trying to do one-liners from the Big Brother Nigeria show. Or it's like,
oh man,
it was like some guy was feeding me like comedy lines. I'm like, it's raining outside and the sound's not working and the monitors are malfunctioning. So I mean, this was one of the worst shows I ever had. But the second time I went there was like amazing, like to see like just the energy and the vibes. And I mean,
well, even that first story, man, I like thinking of you in that situation, not in a shitty situation, but like having to deal with that sort of back to the roots shit that we all used to do. Because that's where we all came from, was like, the mic doesn't work, the turntable unplugged, whatever it was. I feel like when I was coming up in Chicago, like almost every show I played, you had to like stop and talk to people because something was broken.
I mean, sometimes when the sound falls out, it's a blessing. It's good. You can start the whole party over again.
Yeah.
If you're a good DJ, you like think of like, wow, there's 3 records that would just like tear up like right now if I start from the scratch. So sometimes it's like good to actually take a step back and like let your music breathe.
Yeah.
Not in Nigeria though.
Yeah. Didn't really translate.
Yeah, but I mean, just in general, like going somewhere where it's a little more appreciated, the music. Because in America, we've already seen every DJ do everything and like play everything and like take every secret and like make the whatever pop off the poppiest songs, and there's not like a lot of integrity in actual music and dance music in America, at least for the pop guys. Not saying that you can't like have an amazing record. Like, I mean, like look at what Fisher's done, or like look at Ghost Voices by Porter Robinson.
Absolutely.
Like there's so many dope records that like maybe like it's
Grammy nominated.
Yeah,
it's
like,
crazy.
It's like there's still great songs on our scene, but I feel like that's always the hard route to take.
Yeah.
So why would you do that? Why would you spend time making a record that all of us can appreciate, that like gives us a little of our history, when you could just literally make a song with like but Selena Gomez or whatever.
You're right.
So like it's like not knocking her, but I mean like you can literally just like get a record and just put it out there and not have to do a lot of work. I would, if you had to choose, like when I was coming up, I'd just do the easy thing too.
Of course, man, of course. When speaking of Grammys, you got one of those recently. How was that experience, man, for a record that I think is pretty underground and is not particularly pop-leaning in the grand scheme of Grammy
I mean, we
awards.
did make it with a big pop star, and I did work with Mark Ronson, who wins a Grammy every year, so it wasn't like that difficult.
Sure.
But
I mean, I'm just thinking about the way that it sounds.
For the most part, I do feel like we tried to do something that, in America, we try to do actually a house sound.
Right.
That doesn't really ever like translate onto the radio in America for some reason, but that record did.
Especially that bass line,
and
man.
it got bigger. It got bigger at like it's still like on the radio more than it was when it first came out. But that's kind of like everything we do. Like whether it's Jack U, like I remember we got like clowned for Wearing You Now, and then it became like a big record.
Right.
Lean On took like 6 months to enter the charts in America. So it's not like...
So at the time, like when those first come out, in your head, do you already think this could be a big hit, or are you sometimes surprised by how big they get?
Well, I'm surprised sometimes. I mean, I always feel like this should be I'm always, as a musician that works hard in the studio, I'm always disappointed by my songs. You know, like
right.
I want every song to be like the biggest song that ever happened to change the world. You know, I want every song to be like when I hear a record, I'm like, damn, this record like really flips everybody off its head. I'm like, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
You know, like I always want every record I do to be like the best record that ever happened, to like give you goosebumps.
Yeah.
So when it doesn't happen, I'm like, damn, what did I do wrong every time? But then I just learn, you know, like, and I take it easy, but that's just me just trying to be the best all the time. That's just like my work ethic that I was given to me.
Do you ever see that slowing down, man? I mean, your work ethic is just so ridiculous. And
I just think I keep getting lucky to have opportunities. Like, I mean, I never thought, I did LSD, this project with Sia and Labyrinth, and we did it 2 days, wrote the records that I wrote with them. And then I spent like 6 months producing it afterwards. I never thought I'd finish it because Lab was hard to get things done and like get the parts back, and like I'm slow too. And then it got done, and like we put the record out. I didn't think much of it, but every song has like had like, you know, 300 million, 400 million streams now that we've released. So it's like crazy that project went from just like a little hobby, and it's like such a cool thing to like. I'm just lucky. I'm like, I got to work with Sia on an album, you know, and work with Lab, who was like one of my heroes as far as a producer. Each time, like, you know, I just feel like I keep getting lucky. I keep putting myself in positions where, like, Sia probably doesn't work with a lot of people, but I'm lucky I've been with her since, you know, she wrote Hold On for Rusko, for Mad Decent.
Actually, I don't think I knew that. That's crazy.
Rare fact. So I brought her in the studio, and I remember, like, just from back in the day, like 10 years ago, thinking, like, yo, this girl's voice is amazing. I remember she came in the studio, and she was like, I just did this song. It's called Titanium. I don't even know. I'm going to let him use my voice. I don't even know who the guy... like, this kind of thing. And, like, of course, it was, like, one of the biggest records of the last 15 years.
Yeah.
And then we wrote Hold On there. Amber Kaufman sang it for Rusko's album.
And that's still a timeless song, in my opinion.
So, I mean, like, being, like, just having... Even back in the day, like, paying attention to Sia before people were, and being like, yo, this is the most amazing voice I've heard. And, like, not just being, like, a new guy and being, like, just have my label, try to figure out who's hot. Like, I have history with a lot of artists, and I feel like that, like, even Justin Bieber and, like, Scooter Braun, like, we got Where Are You Now, because I've always been, like, showed, like, the most love with those guys, and, like, always been in that community with Scooter, and you know, he, like, literally said, hey, I got a record for you guys, and gave me the acapella at a party, and we made the record the next day, and just took advantage of every opportunity I've had, like, just always be awesome to other people you work with, and, like, if you see someone that's a great artist, nurture that person and, like, help them develop. Maybe it won't pay off to you, but, like, you're part of the community. You should do that. Yeah. So I feel like just that attitude has been helpful to me.
I love it. You know,
Mark Ronson, I, like, fucking knew the guy from Philadelphia. Right. Like, I didn't just go like, I want to work with Mark Ronson. He's a hit maker. No, I literally knew him because I used to sneak into his parties. How far back do you guys go? We met at Silk City Diner in Philly. That's why we called the party, because he was friends with, like, my boss, Tony, who used to be called Triple W. I made AIU mixtapes if you, like, want to know some obscure facts.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So him and him, they went to school together at Wesleyan, I think, or Columbia, or some school. I don't know where the hell they went. Oh, they went to some university together. And so he's like, I have a friend that's a DJ too. You should meet him. It was Mark Ronson. I was like 20 years old. I was going to Temple in Philly, and I was like, cool. And I met him, and he was DJing Allen Iverson's birthday party at this, like, private club. And that's when I met him. And we traded records. I was like, damn, this guy knows a lot about music. And he went on to produce Amy Winehouse and, like, become a huge record producer, one of the biggest probably of our generation. And fast forward like 20 years later, I'm like, I see him all the time. Like, we're friends. We've known each other for 20 years. And it was easy to make that record together, because we were like, what are we going to do together? And I thought maybe we'd make, like, psychedelic rock. I don't know what we did. I was like, let's make house, because we're both DJs. Right. We love nostalgic sounds. Let's do this. Let's try to make it new. And I mean, just like I said, just be awesome to everybody in the scene if you can. Like, because it always comes back to you. You're gonna like, you want to have a good name in the music scene, for sure, at the end of the day. 100%. I mean, when you and a guy like Mark Ronson get in the studio together, and just in general, when you're working with other successful, big-name people, how does the labor get divided? What is that experience like? Is there ever, you know, not with Mark, but just in general, like, how do you navigate egos? How do you navigate expectations of big names and past hits and all that kind of shit? Well, since I know Mark for so long, he's not allowed to have an ego with me. Because I know his deepest, darkest secrets. Yeah, of course. I mean, for the most part, when I first started, maybe I was like scared of people and I didn't know how to act, or maybe I had to like walk on eggshells with some artists. Now I'm just like just myself. And maybe I learned that from Benny Blanco. He's like so unapologetically himself in the studio that I'm like, how does people even like fuck with him? But I'm like, yeah, that's how he gets things done. There's no like secrets. Maybe it's like a good way to like learn how to have relationships with a girl or something. Just be straight up with people about what you like. And sometimes you gotta be manipulative with an artist to get what you want done if they have an opinion. But like most people that come to me and they're like, yo, what do you think? That's why they come to me. Now, I don't really have, they're not like, let's go work with Diplo and tell them what to do. But they could. I mean, I wouldn't be mad. Most people like, they want me to give them my opinion and they want me to like be part of this writing process and like give them what I can. So it becomes easy. I don't really think there's not really a home for ego anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like a lot of young rappers, like maybe the advice I give them is like, make sure you know that this is all given to you as as a blessing, like everything you have. So be very careful with what you have and take control of it. And even for a young producer, it's everything we have as musicians, whatever we're doing is definitely a blessing. So, it's not going to last forever.
What about for you? The last time I came here and talked to you, you were talking about that, not right now, but you did see it, the balance of what you were doing shifting, and that eventually you kind of saw yourself being more...
I mean, I'm begging to fall off. Like, I want to go hang out with my kids.
Yeah.
Every day and like play basketball. I probably would get bored. I have like,
that's
crazy FOMO and ADD. And
that's my question though. Like if you're just sitting alone by yourself and nothing is going on, do you get antsy?
100%.
Yeah.
I can't even even if I'm not on tour, I'm like, what am I doing? Where are my shows at?
Right.
Like I'm like, but like it's important
Only
to take a break.
2 shows tonight?
It's crazy. But it comes in waves. I mean, if I didn't love it and I'm like not, I'm like, oh, I'm excited. I get to go to Japan, like do a fashion show or whatever. And like I can stay there and do a session. And if these things didn't come up and I wasn't like excited about what the shows I'm doing, if I was just like every day working, which I did like 10 years of just like slugging it around.
Yeah.
I didn't put an album out till I was 25. I didn't start making money DJing until I was like 28. So it's not like, I didn't have it like these kids right off of fucking Vine or whatever, doing straight into it. So I've grinded, and I've done shows I hate. I've been in Philly and I have so much respect for all my homies who's still there, like doing the dirty work, playing nightclubs every night, not making the music that they want to make, not playing the shows they want to play. And it's a job and it's a grind.
Yeah.
And I did that with low budget. We did that forever. We were like just grinding by doing whatever gigs, fighting each other for like the gig here at the bar, or like whatever street this is. And then we did our own party, made no money. Then we made a little money and then we developed something. I mean, it takes a little ingenuity, but I'm just lucky that every day I'm like, damn, I get to work with these, like, people upstairs waiting for me now. Like, I get to work with this girl, Simi, from Nigeria today, and St. John from Guyana, and like all these awesome writers. So it's like every day is like a new journey.
Do you need people around in general? Like, because I think about just your lifestyle, and you're never alone, right? Is that something that you're comfortable with? Like, is it weird for you to be alone, or is it more just that this is what needs to happen to get this work done?
I mean, as a father now, like, I don't feel like if I'm ever like actually in my house alone, I'm like, damn, I'll go see my kids.
Right,
like, I'm like, every moment I'm like, but I do like to sit home and watch TV or like chill or like go on the internet or whatever. I actually love being by myself. Like I love it. I like being on tour and like I go to the gym and I just like sit and I sit, go to a sauna or whatever. I need some alone time for sure. But
I'm glad to hear you say that, man.
100%. Yeah. I love being by myself, to be honest. I just feel like unproductive. Also I can't smoke a lot of weed because I just feel like for the moments the time I'm like enjoying that, I feel like I'm unproductive.
Yeah.
And that's like a stinging feeling. And I feel like...
Well, how do you take care of yourself, man?
I think I've always had like I said, I'm 40. I've been doing this for so long that I've learned my limits. I've learned like what makes me happy and I learned what things don't. And it takes you a while to cut that. I still have so much stuff I need to cut out of my life. Like negative people and negative energies and stuff like that. But I'm a little lazy for that. I'm like always trying to catch up. Like I'll do it next year or like I'll finish this or whatever. But little by little, I just do what makes me feel good, and try to like be the best person I can. I mean, it's like... And
what is that? Other than seeing your kids, obviously, and spending time with family.
Like being productive, like exercising. I mean, I don't get to go on vacations. Yeah. But like every day is a vacation. Like if I'm traveling, I take advantage. Like my tour party probably hates me because I'm like, okay, we have the red eye. We don't sleep. We wake up. We land at 6 in Paris. Okay, we're gonna run to the Louvre and like do a thing there, and then we're gonna go. I go to the gym. We're gonna go to CrossFit now, and then we're gonna go as a session to have at 5. And like, they have to do everything with me. And so, but they're all like really healthy now. Like, you know, I feel like I'm like you know, and I'm older. I've already had like a lot of life. I've like had a lot of love in my life. I've had different things happen. So when young people ask me the same thing you're asking me, I have a lot to tell them, but I'm like, yo, you need to experience as much as you can. Yeah. But take care of yourself. So I don't know. I just guess I'm lucky. I'm in the position where I'm happy and I love making music still. I'm ready to like be like, I'm not inspired, you know, like I don't really feel like this is not my thing. And then I won't do it, you know, and maybe I'll go make pizzas and maybe be the best pizza maker. I'll find another challenge, but do you have, like, in the back of your mind, has it ever occurred to you, you know, if the music thing was done, what would I do? I mean, I think I'm always going to be involved in music, whether it's like, if I'm not making it, I might like manage somebody, or I might be like, I have great ideas. Like, I think I see things in like 4D sometimes when it comes to like the music marketing and, you know, the way things move. Yeah. But developing the parties we do, developing like shows and developing communities, working with kids. There's a lot of things I have history of doing. I don't want to think about it too much because I'm still on tour. I'm still putting out records. I mean, and I like being part of the community here. Like, I like all the different guys who make music that inspire me and challenge me. And, you know, it's still really dope. I'm still paying attention to everything that's going on. Yeah. So speaking of your kids, chess update. We got to do it. How's the chess going for you? How's it going for them? Man, well, as you know, as we play every day, I haven't gotten any better. And I think the problem is, especially online chess, I play like 16 games at a time. Right. And I don't know how many you play. I play, it's less than that. It's probably like between 5 to 7 at I need to do like 3, I think. Yeah. Because I don't care about half of them. Like with you, I'm like shit, I gotta beat this guy. My ELO is so low. Dude, the game we're playing right now, you're fucking me up though. This is the one I started taking like some thought into, because like once your ELO gets under like 1100 and it gets close to like 900, then I get suicidal. So it means you really suck. Yeah. And I think I only play the same people, and I think I'm actually better than my ELO, but the people I play always beat me. Well, because you you know the person you're playing. Yeah. You know? But the guys who play me are all like, if I played in my ELO bracket, like if I play random games, I always beat the guys. Oh, yeah, if I play anybody at 10,000, I'm 1,000, I'm beating them. You know who's fucking my world up is Hooks from Zed's Dead. I'm glad you could link to him because he's really good. Oh, I think he only plays me and you, I hope, because he's too good. Dude, I think I've beaten him once or twice, and every single time I think I'm close, and then oh my God. I think he has like a chess computer app or something. He's like, you can play Scrabble with friends and you can cheat by going to that website. Yeah, he's probably cheating. Yeah, we'll put that out there. I took Zed's out. I took Hooks out to like a party in Miami. I took him. He saw him randomly in the hallway, and I took him to like all the parties we did one night during music conference. And it was like, we left the house, did some rave. I forget what I played. Somebody's party. Oh, I played Lee Foss's party. Then we went to a late night Haitian party. Michael Brune did. It was like Major Lazer played that, and it was like, how different could that be from Lee Foss? Then we went again to Shaq's party. I did like a back-to-back party favors. That was like most aggressive thing. Then we went to another party, and I think he was just like, "What the hell are you doing?" And then it was like 6 a.m. I think we went to Space. I think he left at one point. Of course. Oh no, we went to Soho House to like it was Diz's party. It was Peach Fuzz, great party too. Like kind of like old school hip hop dance hall. So we had 4 parties that night. And I remember him. He was like, "What's wrong with you?" And you do this all the time. And he was like, but the best party was probably the Michael Brune party. It was like in Little Haiti Community Center, but it was dope. Like cool vibe. I think I saw your Insta stories from that. That's like a typical night for me though. If I can do like a deep house rave, a dubstep party, and like a Caribbean like center, that's like a day in the life. I love that. I mean, you kind of like tick all the boxes there. I mean, what about the nights though? How do you never get tired, man? I'm fucking tired, man. What are you talking about? But like, why do you keep doing it? Like for me, if I run myself ragged, I got FOMO. Yeah. Am I ragged? You're saying I'm ragged? I thought my skin is glowing today. I think you look fantastic. Jeez, I like the gold tooth too. It's a good touch. Oh yeah. I got a veneer in, but I'm taking it out after Coachella. After Stagecoach. I was going to say, you got to keep that in for Stagecoach for sure. But no, for real though, man, is it just the FOMO? Like you're going to miss something if you don't go to 4 parties tonight? I mean, I'm not going to 4 parties. I'm DJing 4 parties.
Well, right.
So it's a little different.
Well, of course, you're
I'm
not
not
just
like I'm not like just like out every night, like
trying to
looking
get
for
drunk. Yeah,
looking for shit to do. But yeah, I mean, every party was important. Like it was important to play with Lee Foss. I got some records I'm trying to make with him this year. It's important to play with Michael Brune, who I think he's doing amazing stuff. We got a record with him doing for Major Lazer this year. Shaq party, I just wanted to see what kind of.
I mean, Shaq becoming a headlining DJ is maybe the weirdest part of 2019.
And it was kind of like a community. It was like a scene meetup there. It was like me, Nightmare, Carnage, and like Party Favors, and like my squad, and like it was a bunch of random people. It was cool to like link up all the people. Armin van Buuren was there. And it was cool to like link that whole crew up, and then. I mean, yeah, every night it's like a different vibe.
It's crazy, man. You were the first guest on this show, and it's 2 years later. This is a 2-year anniversary. I don't see you all the time, but I do feel connected to you, and we keep sort of intersecting in these weird ways, and it's been really fantastic these last couple of years.
And we're always on the chess app.
Yeah,
I'm going to beat you this game, hopefully, this one game.
I'm a little worried about this game.
But if we tie, the thing is, once you get to the like last 2 pieces, just like it's a race for the stupid pawn, and then you just lose, and it's like, what a waste of some of these games take 2 weeks, man.
Oh, I know. And I'm always playing late at night, too.
If you're out there and you're an up-and-coming DJ, and you want to hit me up, find me on social chess, and if you can beat me, I'll listen to your demo.
That's all it takes. All right, 2 last questions. One, what should people be looking out for, man? What's coming up? What are you dropping?
Lots more house music this year. I mean, as Diplo, I'm only putting out house music and country records. So I did African music last year. So let's keep it getting more random.
Yeah, I like that.
And
Major Lazer
has a big single coming out next month. I have a song with Charlie XCX coming out next month too. It's really funny. I did like a year ago. It's a Spice Girls cover song, so that might be a banger.
I love it.
And then I did a song. Major Lazer has a new single and a video coming out with Skip Marley next month called "Can't Take It From Me." It's really dope.
Feels like this last Major Lazer record. Like
it's album? The last one that I'm like working on. I mean, we probably keep going forever because I can just Wall Street Fire can just continue taking it all over the world. But I feel like I'm just like. Don't know how much more. It's a lot. We're independent, and at one point you kind of feel like it's one project I'm doing. It's a lot because it deserves a lot of attention. It's not like I want to like make it a little hobby thing. I think it should be like my full focus, but I'm just not focused on all that as much as I am on everything else.
Yeah. And it's all a cycle, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I mean, this one I wanted to make. Hopefully, if it's big enough, it might be the last one. But if it's not, maybe I'll make another one. So I want to end on a high note. But I think it's amazing. We have a lot of good records. It's just hard to find a place where we exist now. We made like 40 songs for Major Lazer. But do we make pop records? Do we make club records? Do we just like keep pushing it forward with like new African beats? Or like, do we find something else that we can do to help and educate the people or whatever it's going to be? I mean, that's like the negotiation of what it takes to make Major Lazer. And
you can hear it in the music, I think, man. That's what makes it an interesting project. Last question. I ask this at the end of every episode. Just a simple thing. You don't have to think about it too hard. First thing that pops into your head. Just a time in your life, and this could be recently or it could be from when you were a kid, any time when in a moment music really deeply affected you. And that's meant to be super broad, and it could be, something you heard stopped you in your tracks or made you think about something differently. Just the first thing that pops in. I can give you
a million of those.
What's the first one?
Damn, I'm going to do 2 because I have a better one than the first one. The first one was like probably Shy, If I Ever Fall in Love Again.
Oh, yeah.
It's like record. I remember I was like sent to like a bad kid school and like this was like a cassette single that some kid always played. And I always, if I ever hear that song, I smell the smell of shoe polish. So I was like sent to like a military school.
Really?
But it was like a banging song. If I Ever Fall in Love Again by Shy. Man. It was like
that's
a big epic
sexiest song. Yeah.
Big epic like middle school like
slow dance song.
Rave song that was like just took over. That was like one song I remember just like that song was dope. I was like 14 or something. I was such a bad person. I was like in and out of like.
I didn't know you got sent to military school.
I did. I was bad.
For how long?
I got there. I was there for a year.
Damn.
The thing about military school is it made you a lot better at being bad.
Right.
Like you're like, well, I was stupid before, but now I know how to like commit these crimes and get away with it. And then I don't know, man. Maybe like. I think Outkast, Spotty Dopalicious, that song. I remember just like listening to all like 8 minutes of it and smoking weed and just like hearing everything about that record and just like that record being like one of the best of like, because it has a fusion of like everything hip hop and reggae and like.
Did it
rock
make
and
you
roll.
feel like somebody else understood your brain a little bit?
It felt like it was like the perfect song.
Yeah.
Like for a long time for me. There's a lot of songs that feel like that. I mean, like another record that's like the perfect song might be like I'm the Black Hole of the Sun by Rotary Connection. Or
I
like,
don't know that one.
Yeah, get that one. Anything Charles Stepney produced. He's the guy who used to do Cadet and Chess records.
Oh, okay.
One of my favorite producers. I mean, DJ Shadow, Midnight in a Perfect World. Tribe Called Quest, Electric Relaxation. These are like records that are just perfect. Actually,
Yeah.
the sample from that is that record is actually perfect.
Even the sample.
I forget the sample because you can listen to the whole song all the way through. It's like epic. Fela Kuti, like Zombie. I heard when you hear that at a party in Philly, back when I was coming up, like, you know, listening to like Rich Medina play that or like Cosmo Baker and being like, damn, this is like perfect. This is the perfect moment for a dance party. Like this record. So many things, man. I don't know.
I love that. No, that was the perfect answer, man.
Yeah.
It's great to see you, man.
Always, bro.
2-year anniversary.
Check it out, Willy Joy. What's your show called on Revolution?
Back-to-back radio.
Back-to-back radio.
Yeah, you want to do a drop real fast?
Hey, this is Diplo. You're listening to Back-to-back radio with Willy Joy.
Ooh, yeah.
ASMR. All right, bro.
Thanks, buddy. All right, that's the show. Shout out to Diplo. I couldn't think of anyone better to have back on the show for the 2-year anniversary. If you really need it, there's a link in the description of this episode where you can go check out everything he's up to, but I think you know where to find him. The Higher Ground EP from Diplo is out right now, along with his brand new single, So Long, featuring Cam. The LSD album is out right now, and like you just heard, there's so much more coming. So stay up to date with him. You can always reach out to me too. Don't forget, backtobackpod@gmail.com is the email address, or you can hit me up at Willy Joy or at backtobackpod on all social media. That's it. I'm wiped out. There's nothing more to say. 2-year anniversary in the can. Shout out to everyone out there listening right now. All of you help make this happen, and there's so much more to come. I can't wait to show you. Until then, I'll talk to you next week. Have a good one. Take care of yourself. Be safe. For Back to Back, this is Willy Joy. Peace.